Welcome back to the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Mark Kusenberger from Texas Sports Productions. We are joined by head coach Lyndon Hamilton of the Reagan Rattlers. Well, Coach, it's July in South Texas. It's miserable outside, all the concrete downtown, probably parked an acre away, and then you get into a frigid and crowded convention center, and we couldn't be happier to be here, could we?
Oh, I'm telling you, it's a little bit different than last summer. We've had a little bit of a wild ride the last, I don't know, I guess 18 months, something like that. And so, yeah, we're excited about this upcoming 21 season and just ready to get back in the swing of things on August the 2nd. We didn't do spring ball, so we've kind of been chomping at the bit to put a helmet on and just fired up about having the opportunity to go play some good people.
Tell us about what you're looking forward to next month with a much more normal August to prepare your team for a game in late August as opposed to early October like last year.
Just a sense of normalcy. You know, we've had 6 really good weeks of work, and the kids are they know the expectations are high for this upcoming season. You know, we had an opportunity to win a district championship last year, but surely didn't end the way we wanted it to in the playoffs. And you know, we've got 4 brand new coaches on staff that have done a phenomenal job of getting to know the kids and getting to know their quirks, and they're getting to learn my quirks too, as you know, as they're coming on board as new coaches. So you know, it's been a fun ride leading up to that. We had a really good spring. You know, we lost Coach Damasco, and Coach Hinton went to Ingram, and we're going to miss those guys, but Coach Cueva is going to take the offense over, and he's been doing a fabulous job of transitioning. You know, we had 4 to 5 good weeks of offensive work in the spring, and we continued that with the skill piece all the way throughout the summer, and it's going to exciting time to see what's going to happen this season.
Well, reloading, I guess, not rebuilding. Reagan doesn't rebuild; they reload. But you know, it's happening with the coaching staff. But you know, we're all thrilled for Coach Damasco because he's done so much for your football and your baseball program. So I guess you had to do some hiring. But seeing proteges go on to their own success, I'm sure that has to be a great perk with your job.
You know, we've been in contact all summer, and he. You know, he's really excited about his opportunity there, and we wish them all the best, and we know
especially since you don't have to play Igor Tom Moore, they can win all the games they want.
You bet. And he was you know, I've worked with him for a very long time when I was at Roosevelt, and then hooked up again at Reagan, and he's going to do a fabulous job with those guys, and we're you know, we're just excited about the opportunities that are in front of us with our young kids. We got some really good. We got some good sophomores that are chomping at the bit to try to find an opportunity at the varsity level, and you know, we've got the biggest senior class that Reagan's had since I've been there, and this will be my 9th year at Reagan. This is probably the most numbers that we've had coming back. So we'll see how it all parlays into hopefully a good run this year.
Well, you have sophomores looking for an opportunity, and that's often been the case that handful of sophomores make their way into the starting lineup with the Reagan Rattlers. There's some pretty serious competition from guys you've got coming back. I haven't even had a chance to go over the list, but I know your quarterback, Britton Moore, your running back, Carson Green, a few linemen, including Zenon Rudnick, and you've got guys on defense, including some Hamilton kid who made a few good plays last year. Tell us about this core that you get to build your team around as you get ready for a new season, an experienced team that's used to district championships.
You hit the nail on the head a while ago. It starts with, you know, at the quarterback position. Britton and Lance both have had really good summers. We've got Javier Colsa also coming back with Carson Green in the backfield. Both those guys will help our ground game, and Big Zenon and Austin Dearman up front, opening up some holes for those guys. That's got to help our passing game. And we had a young man come back to us from another school here in town, and we're glad to have him back with us, and Gabe Foltz. And defensively, we've got some kids coming back, and Jack Davis, A.J. Herrera. You mentioned Bryce a while ago, but, you know, we've got some young men coming back on defense that know they better fly around, because hopefully the offense is going to put some points on the board, and we've got to make some critical stops in some big-time games. And it's good to know that we've got some experience coming back. I don't know. I think it's something on the defensive side the other day. Day in and day out all summer, we had quite a few. That core that you just talked about, they were here day in and day out the last 6 weeks. So we're excited about what's fixing to happen.
Coach, for all the success you had in the regular season, there was the opening playoff loss against Smithson Valley. How did you work your team past that? Is that something to be completely behind you, or is that part of the motivation that you use to get better?
You always learn from your past, and we talked about it all summer long, day in and day out. We talked about the setbacks that we've faced, not just last season, but some of the things that we've encountered that have hindered our success, on deep playoff runs and trying to get to that regional championship game again. To give us a chance to go play for a big one, and we've definitely used it for motivation and try to fuel that fire underneath some butts all summer long.
Tell us about, you mentioned some sophomores. As the program's getting crowded, which is a great problem.
Sure.
And turnout is great. Tell us about some of the challenges of keeping young men engaged. I don't think I had this problem, but I've seen it with my son. And teenage males have a reputation for not necessarily the longest of attention spans. So tell us about keeping your young men engaged on the understanding that you may not be starting, but there are ways you can help the team.
Sure. We talk about embracing the role day in and day out. And some of these young kids, they're just fighting for a chance to be able to get on the varsity in some capacity. With a bunch of seniors and juniors coming back, we just tell them embrace it, and hopefully your time comes. And when your time comes, you better be ready to fill those shoes, because unfortunately there may be an injury or two that happens, or somebody may get tweaked, and those young kids, they better be ready and they better be locked in.
Tell us a little bit about your non-district schedule. I know you're opening with Brennan, and you're bringing back a lot of guys. They're bringing back a lot of guys. You've been having regular matchups with Brennan during the regular season. Tell us about the challenges that Brennan poses. That those guys won a district too.
Oh yeah, it'll be a great first game coming out of the gates, and Coach Baser does a fantastic job on both sides of the ball, and they like to fly around on defense, and so it'll be interesting to see our new with Coach Cueva's wrinkles and stuff that he's bringing to the table, versus that defense. That'll be a fun matchup for game one. And offensively, their quarterback's very dynamic. We've got our hands full containing him and with their ground game, and we know they're going to slip one out of the backfield or something and try to get a little screen game on us or something. So our linebacker core and our D-line, we've got to work cut out for us in stopping their run game.
Well, I've enjoyed watching Britton Moore play football and baseball for quite a while now with the Reagan Rattlers. This is a young man who's being considered by military academies for anything. That's quite a compliment to the young man. He has the great experience athletically as a year at quarterback and the smarts to be recruited by Army and Navy. What's there left to teach the young man?
How to manage that dude is all, he's being pulled 80,000 different directions with everything he's got cooking in the baseball world, the football world. He is a very well-rounded, very grounded young man. He's always on the stage at church, leading worship for his dad's church, and he's hopefully fixing to play his best football he's ever played his senior year. So we're looking forward to him leading. We just got back from a team bonding deal over there in New Braunfels at the ropes course with Nuke's Tennis Ranch, and it was really cool to see him and some of those other seniors interact and to see his leadership skills pop out. So, we're in for a pretty dynamic senior year, hopefully, out of number 7.
And you did allude to Lance Lorenz, who has plenty of experience taking snaps for you, and I was impressed how later in the year when Moore established himself as a starting quarterback, Lorenz was finding ways to get on the field playing other positions because it looks like he had the athleticism and the attitude to embrace that role for you.
He is definitely a team guy first. He has had a very good summer. We're going to play him in, like you just said, numerous roles. We actually repped him a little bit at will linebacker in the spring, and throughout the summer he got a little bit of that throughout 7-on-7. But, I watched him fly around in 7-on-7 at receiver and running back and tight end, and he got some snaps at Q. He's eager, and that's what you love about high school athletes. They're just wanting the opportunity to go compete.
And so you have a young man who could potentially play two ways. If you play offense and defense at Reagan High School, you have to do a lot of things right.
It's funny that you brought that up. We actually took about 7 to 8 kids, and we cross-trained them both ways throughout the spring. And, hopefully if we can handle our business, we can give ourselves an opportunity to maybe play more than one playoff game. And some of those guys are going to need to play pivotal roles in big-time games, hopefully. So they better be prepared.
You are the athletic coordinator as well as the head coach, and it was really an excellent school year for Reagan. You had a lot of success in a lot of sports. Tell us about some of the coaches and athletes who rose up to represent Reagan so well in a challenging year.
It starts with the coaching staff for sure. Our coaching staff at Reagan did a tremendous job of making sure that our kids were taken care of week in, week out, day in, day out, all the way dating back to when COVID started and when they cut us loose here in San Antonio to work with our kids on the girls' side and also on the boys' side. Our girls' volleyball program, they made it to state and followed up with, the way we finished up the spring with Coach McHugh's program. On the girls' side, they represented us extremely well. Coach McHugh, I believe she was like the Texas Girls State Track Coach of the Year. There's a lot of great things going on at Reagan right now on the girls' side and the boys' side. We just hired our new softball coach from out of state. She was working at the college level, and we're excited to bring on Coach Brainig, Coach Brooke Brainig. She's going to do phenomenal things for us, and the girls' side of things is rocking and rolling. We won the district championship in football, like we said, but we didn't finish the way we wanted. Baseball team won the district championship again, and not to forget our girls' golf team. Going back to the girls' side of things, all in all, we had a really good year. Both basketball programs. Girls went to regionals. And we are really excited about it. They're all back next year on the girls' side of things on basketball. Coach Hurst took his program to the playoffs again. He does a phenomenal job. I think he's down here working his tail off at coaching school. So, we got some good things going. Coach Daniel, the tennis program, we had a young man that went to state. He was in the semifinals. The list goes on and on and on. Coach Rourke with the swimming program. I mean, I don't know how many minutes we can stay on this show, but we could just continue to talk. And Coach Miller won the district championship in wrestling and took a slew of kids to the state meet. So man, it's exciting times at Reagan High.
Well, any athletic coordinator in this environment would have earned whatever kudos, but in 28-6A there was so much weirdness. The basketball season had to shut down for 3 weeks, improvise a tournament to determine the playoff berths, and for perfectly understandable reasons, it came together quickly. It was hard to get word out about it, and I don't think people realize that you had a Saturday where playoff berths were decided when one is playing 8 and 2 is playing 7. Tell us a little bit about some of that weirdness and what you won't miss about it when you have a normal school year, we hope.
Just the certainty of not having the possibility of changing from one day to the next. I know that there were numerous occasions last year throughout the football season where we didn't know if we were going to have to quarantine the O-line. We didn't know if we were going to have to quarantine, one of the Qs or whatever that looks like just because of the contact tracing piece. And, hopefully we can get back to that state of normalcy and just be able to carry the regular routine that we were used to 2 years ago. Hats off to our coaching staff again. I don't know how many times. I don't recall too many times where we had varsity caliber athletes that had to miss games. If there was a session, we were following those protocols, and that's a tribute to our coaches and our community and the kids for following the expectations of what we had for them. Anytime you can be in the top 10 in the Lone Star Cup in the state of Texas, that's a pretty good deal. So that's hats off to the entire Reagan athletic program and all the folks that have worked countless hours to make sure that our kids were out of harm's way and safe and sound for the last, I guess, going on 2 years now. So there you go.
Definitely feels like it. Well, Coach Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you during the regular season.
Appreciate it.
And maybe beyond.
You bet. Strike them.
That's Lyndon Hamilton, head coach of the Reagan Rattlers. I'm Mark Kusenberger. We'll have more at the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention after this break.